Change in the weather. You can count on change. It's a constant. Right now, a look at the sky can tell you a lot about what's coming. I have all these thoughts in my head. They gather and gain intensity, and if I'm lucky, I can allow the thoughts to precipitate before they dissipate. Other things come and, like the wind, blow clear what had been brewing. Which brings me to the weather. Leaving aside climate change, which is, after all, a constant, looking at the weather can instill deep wisdom. You know when it's time to pack up the picnic, or when to take advantage of clear skies to get something done, or to release and relax. Sensitive noses can pick up the smell of ozone as electricity zaps through the air high above, and enjoy the petrichor following the rain. It signals life and smells of transformation and renewal. Changes in season mirror the phases of life, and shifts in weather the nature of life's uncertainties, etc. Just as it mirrors the things that arise for consideration that I'd like to share with you here, the weather also is a summation of what it is that has been on my mind lately. A simple thing, but a potent picture that may help you keep your footing in these uncertain, turbulent times of change we're in. Unpredictable periods of storm and calm have been hitting and receding despite the machinery that's descended upon the world as an attempt to control it. Ultimately, however, that will fail. For you cannot control human nature any more than you can control the weather. You can try, but you will never gain the upper hand on nature without destroying it altogether. It's as if there's an inbuilt mechanism to subvert the subversion. The jet stream of human core strength may be bent, but it will exert itself to right the whole at some point. What is that in your microclimate? What is happening that mirrors the weather, and what can you learn from it to give yourself the power to right the flow of your inner driving force in relation to the collective? I'll leave this with you to ponder and to experience as a seed of meditation if you like. There's really only so long I can hold a thought before it gathers enough weight to express itself. I get frustrated when the crosswinds of distraction interfere with the natural build-up of a concept that, rightfully allowed to come together, can prove beneficial to parched ground. Lately, there's a lot building up, bits of it coming out in conversations here and there, which I will try to elaborate upon piecemeal, rather than flood readers with a deluge of information. It's good stuff, but too much at once is, well, too much. So here, the latest bit of the piecemeal outpouring of thoughts suitable for expressing in bends of light. Hopefully, just to drag the metaphor a bit further, it will afford some kind of refraction, rainbow-like, to help boost a few spirits searching for order in the chaos and freedom from the oppressive dark clouds hovering at the edge of the field. Think about the turbulence when a cold and warm front collide in the atmosphere. There's a lot of sorting out, realigning, transformation going on, friction, electricity, etc. Ride it out. It will pass, and the space will be clearer after the storm of change. The storm is hitting different places at different times. Cold and warm fronts are on the move. From the middle of anywhere, there may be relative calm, but closer to where the fronts collide, the threat of tempest rises. Chaos rides the air, visiting portents of a change in the offing. Stories come in from the edge of shared territory, mirroring the volatility rising in the gathering storm. Dive into the space of the storm. Polarity is at a fever pitch, charged particles banging into each other in the battle royale of positive and negative spin. Truth becomes a matter of perspective and releases itself in a heated discharge. Fiery tendrils of rising temperature seek the path of least resistance, and finding a target to take the blast directs its energy in a darkness-shattering detonation of light. The sky rumbles in approval, thunderclaps echoing in the distance the pronouncement of a determined statement born of pure discord in the heavens. In other spaces, where the charge cannot self-organize to the point of logical resolution, infighting amid the dark clouds merely emits a low, resounding grumble of discontent. Consider this metaphorically, and you have a pretty accurate depiction of the state of things. There are places of calm, some hot, some cold. Movement now is increasingly met with oppositional forces. Tiny tempests erupt, where minor disagreements in prevailing charge prevent the determination of which direction the wind is blowing. From the micro to the macro, this is evident. Unseen clouds are brewing up storms, and some are at more than teapot strength. What to do? A friend of mine maintains it's time to batten down the hatches. She's still battened from the last blast, she says. In her wisdom, in light of the totality of these conditions we share, she's doing her part to help keep calm in her home port by sharing, quite literally, words of encouragement. On her front lawn, she keeps a board where every day she writes a word and its definition, a curiosity to passers-by, but a truly renegade method of empowering those who might otherwise be at a bit of a loss for directionality. It's a way of providing an anchor in uncertain waters, and an example of creative support to her local contingent of humans seeking a clear path through days of madness. I suppose now it's more than local. Eventually, there's going to come a time when that board is coming inside, before the winds pick up, when the time to batten down turns real. A storm is forecast. When it hits, those publicly written words will no doubt transform into prayers echoing further afield, communications of light threading through a sunless sky. At some point, even the biggest storms subside. I don't think what we're facing here is going to be catastrophic, not for all, but it will be transformational, and it is perfect. A word to the wise is to keep an eye on the weather, and remember this truth about it, no matter what the light portends. It will change. In the meantime, anchor yourself in words and images that help you maintain your grounding. Anchor the light that blazes on the other side of the umbral gloom. If you do, you won't have to look far for the rainbow. Be the light that carries it. Some words of critical reading from the book Opalescence relative to this message. Hidden within the minds are traps and blind alleys obfuscated with cloudy interpretations of reality. It can definitely drive one around the bend to try to delineate sane paths through the landscape of a mind littered with hair-trigger bombs set to go off at the slightest agitation of pressure. However, the one who planted them is the one who can defuse them and make the trip through the mental space between what was, through what is, and into what is yet to be, into the most joyful means of soul travel ever experienced.